Better. Now we're on.
Good evening. Welcome to the Doc Day Drinking podcast from Nighttime Tasmania.
On
Tuesday?
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Yep,
Tuesday, the 4th of April.
Hashtag first world problems, don't know what day it is.
At 2000 hours, nearly.
I'm double parked on drinks. You've got one tea. I'm still not well.
I have a Twinings slip tea.
Very good.
As
Highly
God
recommend
intended. Yeah, they are surprisingly good.
I have a banana smoothie because I'm getting liquid food at the moment. And I've gone old school for my tea. I've got chamomile with honey and lemon in it.
And only a touch of morphine and heroin.
No, not yet.
Since
I'll crush
you
up
were
something later.
Diseased.
I'm still diseased.
So we've been sick pretty much all week. I've still got it. As you would have observed from the last podcast, but you've kind of got it now. Yeah, it's a bit of a lingerer. I'm not quite fit for the gym again. I think I will be by tomorrow. I reckon I'll probably go and do a 3k run or something, and I'm going to be okay. But
if I had to guess, I'd be like, I'm about 65%. I had my moments today where I was 100% not lucid and 100% lucid.
Most of the times when I was speaking to you that you were 100% not lucid.
Well, I didn't realise I was running a temperature.
Because you could see spots and everything, nothing made sense anymore.
I wanted to throw everything.
Yeah. I could see the bullets of sweat. Yeah, that wouldn't be really annoying on the...
Sorry.
Jesus, you see what I live with? Yeah, so anyway, the good doctor prescribed 0.5 gram of acetaminophen and you were fine.
Yeah.
So in other words, in Australian, take a fucking Panadol.
Yeah. Anywho.
And it was only one, and that's all I thought you'd need. It only took one, just to take the edge off the fever.
Yeah. So I didn't throw my laptop, so that was good.
My laptop.
Excuse me. Mine. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Anyway, moving right along. So I will start on our usual categories. Bar news for the weekend. So you heard us. So the last podcast we did was on Saturday.
So it was after Friday night, which was a bin fire. There was no one.
Yeah, so Friday night was a bin fire. Saturday night, I chucked my toys out of the cot, and in keeping with the new policy of the hours will not be the same if I don't have a full complement of staff, I didn't open
until
8.
Later.
And whilst we still made enough money to justify opening the bar, it was a pain in the neck. Yes. Were you there the whole time?
I was.
See, I can't even remember.
I was sitting out the back for a bit because you didn't need me.
Seeing spots.
And
so we had one staff. We had one
quick.
Staff member.
Yeah, we had one staff, and then it got real busy real quick, and I had to come out.
Hours.
And you had to take on
half the
crowd
bar
control
in fights.
Yeah.
It shows you.
No, it wasn't half. Don't over exaggerate.
2 groups were a problem. They were 2 large groups, and it would have actually. One was a group of. Because I'm going to tell you something you don't know in a minute. One was a group of, I would say, approximately 6 to 8. Another was a group of 8. And then there was that floating group of dickhead men. Remember the one that you said they weren't with them and they weren't?
Yep.
That group was kind of attaching itself to other groups throughout the night.
Right.
And I know this because in our second topic of conversation in Farm News, where we talk about barbecues and things and all the rest of it, the guy that I took the second barbecue off, this will all make sense in a minute, was in one of those groups.
Oh God, it's such a small place, isn't it, here?
and he was talking about how drugged up some of them were. So
which ones are we talking about?
So there were basically...
Where were they sitting in the second side? Just quickly, because you won't have any clue what we're talking about.
Which group are we talking about, since you've interrupted me in the beginning?
Barbecue drugged up. Which group was it? Tell me where they were sitting.
They were on the...
Because I was out the back with the cameras.
Yeah, they were on the left. They were a part of a Bucks party that we didn't know about. That were on the left-hand side, a young group of guys.
At the very back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, know exactly who you're talking about.
Yep. So, and I don't think they were any trouble.
They weren't.
But the other group, so I thought that the group of guys that were a bit of trouble, but it didn't eventuate into trouble, but that were a little bit, they were sitting with them for a while. And they'd also come in right behind them.
Right.
And he was hoping that throughout the night that I wouldn't have thought that he was with them.
Right.
Because they were causing trouble.
Right.
Because they were moving from group to group and just being a bit of a pain.
Cool.
So anyway,
Anywho, but the big thing from the night,
yes,
the most memorable...
which I'm getting to. So this is where I'm at. Do I need half a Panadol? It's like, yeah, I'm getting there. Is so fun enough. I'll tell you from my perspective, so not yours. So, or what happened. So it's my perspective. Was that I marched out to deal with those guys, the small group of guys. There was like 4 of them that were attaching themselves to other groups and just being, because there was 2 of them and they were both pretty big units. They were probably, around 30 give or take, and they were much bigger than me. Like they were 6'2", 6'3", drunk and or stoned. They hadn't had much to drink in our bar, I don't think.
Yep.
They might have had 1 drink as they came in. So 2 of them were like, slow dancing on the dance floor to grown men.
Yep.
Not that there's anything wrong with that these days, apparently. But, like they were half drunk, half slow dancing, half wrestling on the dance floor. So I actually went out there to deal with them. Nothing else, because I went out there to sort of say, come on fellas, it's time to go, take this on the road, because you know how this ends. They either end up going through a table full of drinks or it turns into a fight with someone. So I went out there to deal with them, and that's when one of the women from the other group grabbed me and said, you've got to deal with that. And then I turn around and I see a woman of approximately 19 years of age, 8 kilos overweight on a good day, not a huge girl, but, big ham hocks on it.
What difference does that make?
That what I'm going to describe it wasn't a pleasant thing to look at by any imagination.
Doesn't make any difference. I don't know why you do that.
Because I'm a misogynist. No? I'm painting a picture. You mentioned all the cellulite before, I will raise with you. Why did you mention that?
After the fact.
I'm mentioning it now after the fact. I don't see what the difference is.
Keep going.
All right. Not the Panadol?
Maybe.
I'm just saying, so, dear listener, young girl, no pants on at all. So she was wearing a long jacket and a very short skirt and no knickers. And the point that I was making, apparently clumsy, as my beautiful third wife has pointed out to me, that she didn't have the body for it. No one really wanted to look at it.
No matter what weight she is.
Absolutely. I agree. There we go. I'm glad we've established that. Anyway, so I walk out and I turn around and I see, as soon as this woman points it out to me, and I double took, so I went, are those horrible tights that people wear that are those flesh-coloured tights that you see in fucking Kmart? And where you go, she's not wearing any clothes. But then when she arched her back and leaned over the thing and I saw her anus, perineum and labia majora, it's like, no. And then I look again and I go, has she taken her trousers off?
Yeah.
Because, as I explained to the wife beforehand, it was like from the lower back down.
Tramp stamp area. From
tramp stamp area down, there was nothing. So her both globes of the gluteus maximus were observable.
Oh dear.
From beginning, middle and end. And yeah, so I went over there So here, and this is where it gets interesting. So a woman's pointed that out to me, so you got to deal with that. I was taken aback, and then I went over there and I went over there and just sort of said, assuming incorrectly that the young lass has skirts ridden up and she hasn't noticed, and she's a bit, or she's a bit drunk.
We don't do drunk.
We don't do drunk, and we don't do drunk, which isn't just lip service for the thing, but we don't. But
I don't think she'd been served at the bar.
I don't think she had been either.
No.
Because, as an aside, before we come back for just a second, is the amount of people that come in and don't get served in the bar that
then asked to leave.
And then asked to leave is quite a bit for reasons you're about to hear more of. And the ones that come in and that are fine because they've just fucking popped a pill and they're fine and they order a drink and you sell one to them completely above board, completely fine, and then 25 minutes later, and they're dribbling in there, they're fucking
face first in their drink,
in the drink, and you go, you're going to drown in half a pint of cider. Anyway, so we're dancing around it because it gets miserable in a second. So I go up to this girl and I go, and I kind of tried to keep it professional because I didn't know what I was going to get. And I said, excuse me, it's like you're not wearing any pants. You need to pull your skirt down. And then instantly she turns around. She gets within an inch and a half of my face and screams, "Fuck off!" at the top of her lungs.
Multiple times, right?
And then, no, well, that was that. And then she turned her back on me and went back to her drink.
Right.
And then I said, no, you didn't hear me. Sweetie, everyone can see your pussy. You got to put it away.
Yeah.
Turns around again, looks at me. Fuck off! You can't tell a woman what to wear. I said, well, you got to go now. Fuck off! I'm not going anywhere. We'll see about that. So, as one does to lovely young women who are 8 kilos overweight and not wearing any pants, you go and get your wife. It's like, Mum! So I go behind the bar and said, need you. And the bar was very busy. And drag you down there and go, that, out. I can't remember what he said, and you probably can't remember what he said either, because pretty quickly...
This is the licensee. You've been asked to leave. And I look at her, and I didn't know why you'd asked her to leave. I don't care. If any staff member tells me they've got a problem, whatever, we'll sort it out afterwards. And then she looks at me, and I don't know what she said, but I think she said no. And I went, you're going. And then you said, and if you're all with her, you can all go too. Yeah. And then I look to my left, and I know the girl to my left, and she's a sweetheart, and she looks at me with big eyes like a deer in headlights, and I go, ouch, pop.
Yep.
And then we start moving them out.
Yep. And I get them out, and she starts screaming. You can't tell a woman...
She's hanging onto the door frame.
Yeah.
And starts to point fingers at you, and then I get up in her face.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, again, if I touch her, I'll never hear the end of it.
And then we walked them down the hallway.
We walked them down.
While I had a quick chat to the one that I knew.
The other guys went as well. So they went as well. And
they were following the pussy, clearly.
They were following the pussy, and they... that's what I keep saying, despite her being 8 kilos overweight.
I'll tell you what I said to the other one.
I'm glad you've come back. Welcome. And... they sort of tried to half pick a fight with me, but they were already, as I said, they were dancing together on the dance floor drunk.
Yeah, it was time for them to go anyway.
So it was time for them to go, and they're like going... And again, this just drives me mental, and this is why it depends on how much of this conversation you want to have in public, why this place has got to go, one way or the other, where they're just going, don't follow us, just stop there, man, like just doing this. And I said, it's my building, I'll go wherever the fuck I want, just keep walking, keep moving. I'm walking you out. So, but their heart wasn't really in the punch up, and they were, and again, for the record, which isn't blowing smoke up their ass, how many drinks do they have in the bar? 1, maybe 2?
Maybe 2, yeah.
Tops?
Because I served them once, and they tried to get more drinks, and I went, nah, come back.
Oh, what, they sort of got...
They tried to get 2 rounds at the same time,
right,
and I went, nah.
Yeah.
Because again, when I'm serving them, I'm going, no. 1 round for you. Come back. And then I didn't serve them again. But
yeah, it was unbelievable. So anyway,
but yeah, she's really like real problem, like really aggressive, and clearly has either both mental health issues as well as aggression, like anger management issues.
And this is, and again,
and you're not wearing any pants in public.
We
That's
can't.
an issue.
I can't stress it enough. And I could. This is where we should put an inset picture in the thing. Yeah. It's like because. I looked at
because I kept wondering whether you were saying, because again you have to be clear, you have to be clearer when you kept saying no pants. I just thought it was the short skirt.
No,
I didn't realise that she didn't have any underwear on.
Yeah, so and you have subsequently seen the images from a camera put way up high in the corner of the room, and these are high ceilings. These are 3-metre ceilings, looking down on this woman. So again, trigonometry fans go wild. So it's 4 to 5 metres away from her and 3 metres. So it's 4. The hypotenuse is 4 metres. Yeah, I know, but it's 3 metres up the wall. So so there we go. So it's 5 metres to her down, up from a height.
Nerd alert.
And she's very fat.
She wasn't it?
She wasn't. That was the shame about it. If you got on a Stairmaster, more people wouldn't be complaining about you. Anyway, the point is, which I'm trying to make, 5 metres away and up that high, and I still took a photo where you can still see the lot. So at face height, where you were like 2 foot above a dot, which is basically the case where you were, dot. You can see her asshole, like you're standing there trying to have a, Yeah,
that's why so many women, obviously, because then we watched the
camera
footage
back. Good Lord!
A few women had already gone over and said something to her, and she must have told them to fuck off as well.
And then we subsequently heard she always does this, and to get a reaction out of people.
Well, I didn't hear that, but I heard
that's what I had heard.
She always does this.
Yeah,
that's because I was having a quick chat to the girl that I knew. I know her father very well. And she was trying to apologise, and a little like. And
so while she was trying to apologise to me out in the hallway, that's when she came back for round 2 with me and got in my face again.
The one with no skirt.
The one with no pants on.
No underwear.
The one that's 8 kilos overweight. But
aren't they a delight? Just a delight.
And she, and got up in my face again. And again, all that comes to me, which I explained to the young lass that we know after the fact, once she went, because one of the boyfriend or something where they just kept trying to get her out of my, pull her off and get her out of my face. But it's just and for the record, dear listener, I would never do this in the circumstances of which I've described. But if you elbowed her in the face, say, which there are plenty of men, both chemically adjusted and not, that in that circumstance where a woman is screaming in your face and you gave her what the locals here call a shush tap, it would change her life forever.
We've mentioned this before.
And it wouldn't make any difference to me whatsoever, physically. And I just sort of think... Yeah. What is going through you? Is this again, not to give to our favourite discussion, like all the there's no difference between men and women.
Yeah,
there is a massive difference between 100 plus kilo man.
He can smash your face.
I can break a jaw. Just casually. I can casually break her jaw. Your jaw will be wired for months. 6 weeks. Which will sort the other problem out, which I'm kidding. But the algorithm, I'm kidding. But you just sort of think afterwards, you just think about it. And so that's what I said to the young girl. I said, 2 things. You need to not go out with her again because she is a magnet for trouble. That's my humble opinion, for whatever it's worth. And secondly, even tonight, if she gets up in the wrong bouncer's face,
wrong person's face,
or the wrong person's face, they're going to hurt her.
Yeah.
To say nothing of the fact that one, with the most casual of effort, could sexually assault her by just
sticking a hand up her ass.
Yeah, The whole lot. Like, so yeah, go dance with no pants on in a mosh pit. And there's 2 mosh pits I can think of in Launceston right there.
Maybe that's what she's after.
Maybe that's fine, but go there and
don't know.
It's
Getting
just
all sorts of wrong.
It's really, really bad, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
all sorts of problems there.
But constantly, again, the thing that I always come back to is just, can't we just all have a drink and listen to Cyndi Lauper and Michael Jackson and have and just chill out and have a joke? And occasionally, more and more occasionally, unfortunately, the moons align. And because when's the last time it was a really good group of people last night, and it was really good and we had fun? And when's the last time we've said that?
It's been a while.
And because there's always something, there's always someone that you go
People
and ask
really
them.
Angry these days.
They're very angry. So this girl was clinically angry, and clearly, like, show me on the dole where I played it with such a straight bat, because usually when I get half of that and I play with them a bit because I'm an asshole, because they're usually clothed.
Yes.
I might be going, show me on the dole where the bad man touched you, sweetheart. It's not me. Like, you need to
sort that shit out. Your meds aren't right.
Yeah. You need to take, you need to take a field trip and see you later. Like, but it's.
But I just can't get over and I keep saying this to you, that either she has been hit in the face before and she likes it, or is used to it, or she's never been hit in the face before, because there's no way I would get up in any man's face ever.
She had all her teeth and her nose was straight. She's not. I
was gonna say, I wouldn't even yell at you in your face.
No, because if this, the chances of me whacking you aren't 0.
You might grab me and shake me if I'm hysterical.
Depends on how you.
But yeah, like some random dude out in public, there's no way I'd get anywhere, like start yelling at someone. Someone could slap me hard and it would break my face.
Of course.
Like, there's no way I would do that.
Of course. You saw that on that. You saw that one.
It breaks all your teeth. It breaks your, like.
Absolutely. Nothing like you will have concussion. Yeah. You saw that on that
fall
revolting.
Down, hit your head.
Of course. You saw that revolting Fightaven thing on Twitter that crosses
Twitter
my thing.
Twitter keeps feeding me that stuff as well.
And you saw that which was almost, this almost 50% textbook of what happened to me, except I didn't do the bit which would be the last 50%, was just that. A woman getting up, a young blonde woman getting up in a big guy's face, it was a big black guy in this bar, and he just slaps her.
Open hand slap
from
the room.
From 120 kilo at least, 6'5",
strong,
big black bastard that just goes woof,
and she goes flying,
and you can see
bells ringing.
Yeah, she was slapped in. She was out cold.
Yeah.
Like you see her try and get up, and she's like a
foal.
A foal that's just been born, going because it's like, you got concussion. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's.
Well, maybe she won't do it again.
Sensible policies for a happier Australia.
I wouldn't do that.
So
maybe they need to be slapped so that they don't do it again.
Look. For the record, violence is never any answer. But
advocating for that,
you're not. I'm advocating that.
But
you shouldn't take the risk, and you shouldn't go out of your way to encourage it.
And we've had it multiple times. It wasn't just the chick on Saturday night. I've had women up in my face.
But that was the thing. Usually you can tell, like, you can see their bunny eyes, like they got eyes like saucers because they're on something. No, women on meth are hilarious.
Oh God! Remember that first one where we thought we'd made a terrible mistake?
Yeah, and we had. We absolutely had.
In the first few weeks, she was nutso.
And she was trying to fight.
Yeah. She
was trying to fight, and she went with me. How many times did she go, come on, and she went out with me, and I'm just looking at her like she.
Wow.
So for the benefit of the listener, she was probably, I'd say, perpetually 38. So she was probably 40, give or take a couple of years. She was in great shape, little CrossFit looking chick. She would have weighed maybe 52.
I was going to say 60 kilos max.
Oh, yeah, wet.
She had long hair that was out, though.
Yeah,
so she should put
that's
that
what
away.
we'll be grabbing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Repeatedly smack her in the head. But she, But let's say for argument's sake she was 55, right? I was 110.
That's what I mean.
And know how to hit people. And it's like, you're out of your mind. You were utterly out of your mind.
Yeah.
That's just complete weight. Even if I was a woman that weighed 110, not some middle-aged testosterone-filled lunatic.
Yeah.
That knows how to box. Like just I hit you once. That's it. You could have two or three free goes, darling. The most you're going to do is knock a tooth out. And then I get one back. Woof! And that's you, straight into the ICU.
Yeah.
Good night.
I know, I don't get it. So anyway.
Yeah. Wow. They all do it. But lately, how often do we get a crazy woman like that? Every 2 months?
Yeah. Again, people need to adjust their dosage, clearly.
It's unbelievable. And again, our luck's going to run out at some point. Like, at some point, one of them's going to jump up and attack me, and I'm going to chuck it, and it's going to go through a fucking window, and I'm never going to hear the end of it.
That's all right.
So,
anywho, so that was the bar on Saturday night.
So, was there any more to add? So after that, it was okay. I think it was fine. That was just one thing, and it was dealt with. Apart from,
it was like 5 to 10 minutes worth, and that was it.
Yeah. So to wind it all back, if you look at it based on if you're watching just the video without any sound, you watched us ask someone to leave who was not appropriately dressed, and that I just got the no one deserves the serve, screaming in the face for what? Maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
In 2 dosages.
Yeah.
In two rounds. Ding ding. And me just there with my hands beside me, just going, will it finish? Just wait for it to get tired and leave.
Maybe it was her mother that abused her.
Something more interesting.
Because she came up short when I got in her face. She stopped abruptly.
Yeah, well, did she see you as more of a possible physical threat than she saw me? As no man will hit you, but a woman might.
Oh God!
Well, I'm answering your question.
But I'm a weakling, so no.
Yeah, no, she would have knocked the shit. One of those ham hocks comes across and takes your fucking head off.
But I said I didn't get up in her face, but I stepped very close to her, probably an inch from her face, and said, "Step away from the door." Because she was hanging on and started to have another go.
Yeah, but just all this, you can't tell a woman what to wear. You can't. But when she was outside between round 1 and round 2, what I will add for the benefit of the reader and for any armchair psychologist reading, uncontrollable blubbering. Little kid, again, Eddie Murphy drool all the way down, blubbering. You know,
again,
it's like
it's just a broken human. Go and sort it out.
Yeah, take it home.
How is this fun too? It's like you're meant to go out and have fun.
How do you wake up? Imagine if you did that. So if you did that,
that's how I behaved.
If you behaved on that, so, but let's give you a scenario. Well,
okay.
Let's just work through it. So you start the night.
Yep.
And you have a pill. So we need a Deus Ex Machina, and you're not great on pills, right?
Yep.
So that's why you don't take them.
Yep.
But you take a pill, and then the rest of the night ensues as discussed, and then afterwards you'd kill yourself the following day, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't kill myself, but I'd be deeply ashamed of my behaviour, and I don't think I'd go out for a while.
Yeah, and you'd have a bunch of people to apologise to, because you're in a group.
Yeah.
Imagine with your peers.
Oh God.
So this is where I'm
I'd
getting
be
you
disowned. I wouldn't have any left. I could write it if there was something.
I could write everyone a serious.
No, I'll say I could write it off if, as you said, if there was something unusual at the beginning of the night, like
someone gave me a pill.
Yeah, because
I was roofied.
Yeah, because there's no I would just be mortified.
Yeah.
But I do say this though: alcohol and drugs only enhance your personality. I'm sorry, people go, "Oh, I'm a different person when I drink or when I take drugs." No, you're not. It enhances your personality. If you're a bitch underneath there, you're a uber bitch. If you're rude, you're uber rude. Like, I don't think it changes your personality.
If you're sleazy,
you're uber sleazy.
Yeah, I'd generally pay that. I think there might be 1 or 2 exceptions, but I think you're probably right.
I've heard that a few times from people. Oh, I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, probably.
It's just highlighting, amplifying your underlying characteristics.
Your underlying fatal flaws.
Yeah,
but
totally.
yeah, like, I mean...
apart from that, it was fine. Made more than $350. That was good.
Yeah, but again...
Closed at midnight. Goodbye, everyone.
So we keep... The problem that we have, again, for the benefit of the listener, is that we just keep... I keep treating it as like a series of... It's a product that's got a couple of bugs in it that need to be worked out, and that there's a solution, and there ain't a solution. There isn't. The only solution there really is that if the bar somehow managed to make so much money that you could just fill it with security and things and not care less, and even then there'd still be trouble, and there'd be more trouble.
Anyway,
so don't know.
So
change the subject.
What else you got?
I've got farm news and...
Can't read your own handwriting, can you, Doctor?
No, I can't. I had Tasmanian news and then something...
I've got Tassie news, which is quite funny.
All right, so Tassie news. Let's change the subject. Well, it's kind of moving on from bar stuff.
I think it's funny. Anyway, so, big news today in Tasmania. The penguin-shaped bins in Penguin have missed out on the Heritage Register.
How long have these penguin-shaped bins been in Penguin?
Oh, fuck.
Like
40 years.
40 years, okay. Well, that's...
So they've been there for 40 years.
All right.
So they've got a giant penguin in Penguin that you can stand next to and take your photo with, and that is heading for the Heritage Register. They think they've got...
Is that also 40 years old?
I'm not sure. I think it's older.
Okay.
It's like a big... What's it called? What's boats made of? Fiberglass. I think it's a big fiberglass penguin thing. Which I don't remember seeing when I was in Penguin.
Penguin is on the northwest coast, but very much north. It's kind of between Devonport and Burnie.
I thought it was a cute little town. I was there a while ago, so it's probably grown a little bit. But these penguin bins apparently have changed design a couple of times over the 40 years, which is the problem.
Right, so they're like the Freddo Frog of bins, that the design has changed somewhat.
So if it had been consistent, I think they would have made it. But I just think it's hilarious that they're trying to get... And it would have been the first rubbish bin listed on the Heritage Register. I'm like, Tassie,
surely there's some old...
Come on. Like,
in Australia, I'm sure there's a bin somewhere in... lower crackpot in the UK
Christ,
somewhere
Tassie.
that's...
Like, aim higher, for fuck's sake.
I'm sure they're very nice
Rubbish.
bins.
They are cute bins, but... Oh, God.
Why do they need to be heritage?
I don't
because
know.
Someone wants to remove them.
The
and
committee for Penguin has put them forward.
the Committee for Penguins Bin Association.
God. So anyway, I just thought, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on. I can understand the penguin sculpture thing, but yeah, bins. Wow.
In other bin news?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? What other bin news?
Local bin news?
Local bin... Oh, God, thanks. No. I'm fighting with council. That's always fun. So, we live more than a kilometre from the road. We are on a rural property. We are still listed in Launceston City Council. They insist on charging me for a bin on my rates notice.
A bin that has not been delivered.
A bin that I don't have. A bin that I don't want. A bin that I won't use. And they said, stiff shit, basically.
Pay the money.
Pay the money. Don't care if you have it. Don't care if you use it. Don't care if you don't want it. Pay us the money. It's a minimum charge for everyone.
Unless you're on the
And then I found out that there was an opt-out register, but it's obviously discretionary from someone inside council as to whether or not you can get on that. And one of our neighbours is on the opt-out, but that doesn't make any difference. This woman is just an arch bitch. And
allegedly.
Nah, fuck her, she is. So, yeah. Go Lonnie Council.
So we'll see with this one. I don't think...
I'm just going to pay it. I don't want to argue with these people.
It's...
Excuse me.
It's one or the other, but the other is to... You could certainly... The only way you could prosecute it is through questions.
Her parents must be so proud.
Yeah, well, that's why. As we had another friend of a neighbour that lives...
Sorry.
Barking. Lived up the road that... Drink something, for God's sake. Breathe. that lived up the road who worked for another council where it was teased out, and I said, I know, you basically want to say that you're a child molester rather than work for council.
No, she was proud of it. I'd be humiliated if I worked at local council. It's like
shout out to our hundreds of local council viewers.
Last resort. Anywho,
the pay's terrible.
It's all terrible.
Yeah.
The culture can't be great either.
No, it's terrible because it's going to be filled with people.
They're not there to help.
No.
Which is one of their little doodads on the bottom of their friggin' emails, which drives me mental as well. We bring an open mind. No, you don't.
No, you don't. And I've observed that, which is a rant for another time rather than going into it. But we've already had how many tussles have we had with local council?
Too many.
A couple.
Waste of time.
And
they're a waste of space.
And we have a 100% win ratio so far with them. But this one, I think we will pick our battles. Yeah. So I think we'll just end up giving the bin to someone else. When we haven't got the bar, you'd use it probably. But the problem is where we are. So you put them down because anyone will go, oh, you put them down the front.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, and
plenty of people put it at the gate.
Yeah, the gates that get stolen.
And I'm like, I can't even see the gate from my house, love.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I live on a road that people steal the actual gate, let alone the bin.
Which happens on basically a yearly basis. All your gates get stolen.
So they're going to be set on fire. They're going to be tossed across the road and driven over. They're going to be stolen. I don't want the friggin' bin when I've got a tip just close enough that I can use that much more conveniently.
4 Ks down the road, and we just fill up a trailer and take it to the tip once every 2 months.
They've got their little piece of paper and they have to stick to this, and then they're... Anywho, what else you got? I've got international news.
All right.
India will soon overtake China in population. I thought that was interesting.
They did invent the Kama Sutra. They do like fucking.
Well, I was reading this article... And did you know that they actually go door to door? Women, they employ people, they give them a certain name. They go
for fucking?
No, they go door to door to talk about contraception. And India has the highest sterilisation rates in the world because they advocate for that. These I don't know what they're called, like contraception people. These women,
anti-doulas.
Yeah, kind of, and they get paid after the surgery, so there's an incentive.
Jesus Christ, that's interesting.
It's $25, and they find that there's less regret afterwards if you pay them. So they must have been doing it without the payment for a while. So yeah, I'm like, oh god, really?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, they still think we're going to have there's a big body. There's a emerging body of opinion that we might actually have a population crash in 20 or 30 years, in which case that'll be amusing.
I think they said India's peak is going to be 2064. So China's going like this, and India's doing the same, but not at a same rate. And then I was trying to figure out, did India do any kind of like one child, like China, one child policy, or anything like that?
Not that I know of.
So
India does not have a centralised control like China. India is a massive, ridiculous, corrupt, hilarious.
It's all states and stuff, isn't it?
Bin fire of a democracy, but it is a democracy in its own funny little way. And they said a chunk of the population's still under 25, so they've got a big workforce still coming through, whereas China's ageing. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting the way that they were doing it. And so these people go door to door, and they must be local people because they said they call them out by name to come and talk after 2 kids, and they basically say, "Oi, Sanjeev, will you stop fucking for 2 seconds and come and answer the door?"
And like, after 2 kids, that's enough. You can't afford any more. Like, let's get you sorted. What do you want to do? And then, they have the surgery, they get their payment, and then they come back and they talk to them afterwards to make sure that they're recovering properly and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, that's actually quite good.
Be interesting. Is it predominantly vasectomy or tubal ligation?
Tubal ligation. It's all it's
all women.
It's the women.
Tubal ligations are, that's I don't know about
you
these
have to
days.
go under anaesthetic and stuff.
It's a decent bit of surgery. I'd imagine these days it's all pretty keyhole stuff, but again, it's still a bigger, funnily enough, it's still a bigger deal than getting a vasectomy, but again, are they all idiot alpha males that don't touch my junk? Yeah, don't want to,
So yeah.
But
So I didn't heard that.
we may yet still produce the baby Jesus.
And they were saying that this is their chance to become a superpower because of the, being the biggest populated country on the planet. Do they have nukes? India? Cool. Yep. Alrighty.
So does Pakistan.
So I wonder if
it was the same country before my great grandparents decided
have a little bit of fun and let's
let them squabble amongst themselves.
So where is the world's manufacturing at the moment too? Is that going to move back to India if they have all of these people coming through?
I wouldn't think so.
And what's their food situation like too? If they're
a lot of curry.
Because so China's having a food problem.
China doesn't have anywhere. That's what most people don't realise about China. They don't have a lot of mineral deposits, and they don't have a lot of.
So has India got somewhere to grow food? Like, do they grow? Grow a lot of tea and stuff, but
not a lot of beef, but
cultural. They could if they wanted to, but they don't.
I think I again, as per usual, you'd have to do some homework, but I think thanks to globalization, nobody's self-sufficient. But I mean, as far as food goes, certainly a lot of farming that goes on in India, and half the parts I want for my stupid old tractors are all ex-India. There's people in sandals,
doing cool stuff on the side of the road with metals that they shouldn't just melting.
Yeah, just knocking, hitting things with hammers and producing basically new parts from bits of tin.
I just thought it was interesting because I didn't realise that India was so close behind China in terms of population. I thought there was a big gap.
It's always been there's a big gap because what's third?
America.
USA.
Yeah.
Well done.
I was going to say.
So so there's like a billion and then 380,000.
Oh, 380 million.
Thereabouts.
Million, not thousand.
Yeah.
I thought it was 350 million still.
No, I think it's pretty. It's up there. So.
And they're saying that the southern half of India, the birth rate is very different to the top half.
All right.
I think the southern half is more educated and a little bit wealthier than the northern half. And there's still a big chunk. I think they were saying a third are sterilised, a third...
Not a third of the population.
Third of the female population.
Really? Is that high?
There was a graph, hang on, I might be wrong, but it looked like a third, and a third. So a third sterilisation, a third maybe like the pill or something. They were calling it permanent.
Oh, yeah.
Non-permanent, and nothing. So I think the nothing people live in the north. So, but Hindu religion is that still the major one there?
It depends where
you
they
are. I was going to say, they don't have anything weird like the Catholics where it says no contraception, do they?
No, they're pretty easygoing. Hindus are, they're pretty...
Chilled?
They're reasonably chilled. Pick a god, any god. There's plenty to choose from. Yeah. They're also amusing from the point of view they don't have any great problems with anyone really. And again, like those kind of religions, being not only do they have multiple gods, they have no real centralised authority. So it all just depends on which particular area, which particular flavour, as where. So it's going to range from peace, love and mung beans through to we must kill everyone else who isn't like us.
So it's not the caste system that they have isn't religious based?
Oh, partially.
Is it?
I'd imagine so, absolutely. Our caste system is largely religious based still too.
Is it?
So, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not religious.
That's why you're not far up in the caste.
Alright, good talk.
Well, if you want to be a waspy bitch on the lower North Shore,
I could totally do that, but...
Yeah, but
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, but a gold card at your local Anglican church would probably help you. No, Anglicans aren't happy clappies.
I'm not doing Hillsong.
No, well, that's you might as well join the Taliban because that's the difference between fucking Pentecostals and Anglicans.
Oh, really? See, I'm not across religion.
That's the point. Again.
No, thank you. Other.
So.
Anywho. Alright, so that was my internet. You ever got any international news?
Not really. There's, they've indicted Trump and begin the absolute
shit show that it's going to be.
Dismantling of hundreds of years of political convention in the United States, which is a great thing to do to the world's largest power.
Why is it that? I know no one has ever been charged with an offence, an ex
What
or
goes
a current.
around comes around.
Right.
So what happens when Trump's back in power in 2.5 years? Do you think the Democrats aren't going to face a whole bunch of trumped-up lawsuits?
Right.
So we put out. So that's what happens.
So it's a gentleman's agreement that.
Well, it's not so much a gentleman's agreement. It's just convention that you don't turn the whole place into a bin fire by putting the opposition in jail, because that's what happens in banana republics and dictatorships and shitholes.
So they should have just let dogs lie.
Of course, and especially because this is the argument that's right now. So the argument has been, these are ridiculous, flimsy charges, and then the argument is there's 25 charges that are all felonies and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you don't think the Clintons?
Yeah.
Anyone that crossed them during their thing has
Nixon didn't go to jail.
Accidentally, Nixon was pardoned. And that's how
they usually do it.
That's how they do it, by the next guy that he pardoned him. So it's like we now begin the healing process. We must heal as a nation.
Once he fronts up, but I think once he fronts up and gets
there has been time and time again examples of people who have run, like governors who have been in jail and run the state from jail. That has occurred many times. I invite you to Google it.
I will. Okay.
So, cool. This has all happened before. There's no law on the books that stops him from being president in jail.
That'll be interesting.
That's right. And because these are the things we cover with convention. So, and that's where I'm just saying, the shark has left the shark cage. When we go out here, it's just all of a sudden. So now what happens? So, because you think the Republicans won't take revenge? Of course they will. He'll take personal revenge. To say nothing. He wants to be he wants to be clapped in irons. He wants a perp walk.
That's my only thing. It's like, you're giving him exactly what he wants.
Of course.
He loves publicity, he loves outrage, he loves, so why are they doing it? Because they're dumb.
Because, as with everything, it's ideology above everything else.
And they're not, it's the same as here, they're not fixing anything at the moment.
Nope.
From the pictures that I've seen coming out of the States.
Well, we want to do that. We want to argue about
huge gun problem, Nashville. Yeah, the latest one. I'm sure there were 3 more overnight.
Yeah, we want to argue about things that
happened in the past that shouldn't.
Or we want to all complain about gender ideology because it's something that we can all argue about, which requires no effort whatsoever. No firm views. No one can argue about it. It's all just bullshit. And we can just all argue about that until Rome burns
down.
And that's fine. So it will be very, 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 very interesting.
So I did hear that they had, so I think he has to front up tomorrow morning, our time.
It'll be arraigned, I'd imagine.
And then they'd already put police in place because people are already there protesting out the front, and so it'll be interesting to watch. Anywho.
So,
No. Alright, go Trump. Good luck. Good luck, buddy.
Well, good luck all of us, because I said, if Australia's just so wonderfully boring, except the gender thing's getting a fair bit of play around here, and that particular virus, that political virus that's caught everybody, and we've certainly got a bit of an issue with the Aboriginal voice thing, which I think is also... why do we need this ideological argument in the middle of everything else that's going on? Have we not got bigger fish to fry? Because, I would argue the bigger fish to fry in this country at the moment is an issue of homelessness and an issue of housing unaffordability, and more an issue of... So
they didn't raise the rates again today.
They didn't?
They paused them.
Okay.
Yep.
I would have raised them.
He said they paused them because... it's a lag, obviously, always from when they raise them. He said he wanted to see the effect from the last one first. But, we may well raise them next month.
So I did do a little bit of homework because I needed to get some money out today. And I went into the mall that we talked about last time, because it was basically on the way. And, there's a few
empty shops.
They've boarded them up. They do the whole... to make them look
Coming
like they're being...
soon.
Yeah, like they're being refurbished. Maybe they are being refurbished. I don't know. But there was a few there. So I only looked close, and the donut shop.
The donut
shop, gone, closed.
How bizarre. As I said, every single time I went in there, I didn't go regularly, but
No, we didn't go there much at all.
once a quarter at least. Like, packed to the rafters of old people. Like, couldn't get a seat.
But we'd subsequently heard that I was right
About
why it had gone broke, and that it had changed hands, and the people it had changed hands with
obviously weren't very good at it.
And that's why, despite it being a license to print money,
And it was
failed.
a franchise, and they have huge hurdles they have to meet as a franchisee. So if you're not meeting, then they won't show you any grace.
No. And if you're not on point, well,
No.
that's a problem. So
okay.
we discussed that
So
because
that'll
we
be
had a
interesting.
conversation with another local store owner who is a part of the furniture
Yes.
in that town. Been there forever, will be there forever. He is the alpha and the omega.
Okay, cool.
And because that was good afterwards, I went, see, I told you.
But yeah,
Because it didn't make any sense otherwise.
No, but yeah, I agree. Like, there's bigger problems, there's bigger issues to be solving, but no one.
So we'll all have an argument over this for nothing, and and
That's all right.
great. So
All right. The only other thing on my list, unless you've got something else, mine's very
I've
important.
got farm news,
Oh yeah.
which kind of goes on from that. So farm news was. So I decided I wanted a barbecue, and then for whatever reason, because we've complained about barbecues before, not on this podcast, but on just in general, that all modern barbecues are shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to waste money on a barbecue that's likely going to be shit and is going to rust away instantly or not get hot, or because barbecues are covered in I can only assume is safety features or something.
That's what my sister said,
Or,
remember?
And it's
My
like,
sister works at Bunnings, and she said, yeah, they've changed them all so they don't get too hot for people.
so
It's like, that's the point.
yeah, you had one job, to get as hot as possible. If you melt, you've gone too hot.
That's how you learn not to put your hand on the thing when it's hot.
Anyway, so
Anywho.
I decided in my infinite wisdom, just to look on,
You're going to build one, but you still might.
Oh, I still will. So I've got a whole heap of stainless steel kegs there that need to be chopped up and turned into interesting things, and I still will, but I just thought, look, just to see what we get. Anyway, long story short, I managed to get 2 used barbecues that could sit on anyone's, with a gurney, with doing nothing else but just give them a clean.
Yeah.
Could be sitting on anybody's deck, both lower, middle or upper class, and completely and utterly look the part. Like, they're fine. So I got 2 barbecues
From Facebook Marketplace.
with all the bells and whistles. One's got a rotisserie and a wok burner. They've both got wok burners.
Have they?
They've both got rotisseries.
Oh, look at you.
One's
Fancy
got
pants.
6 burners. The other one's got 7. One's got a
One came
jacket
with a full
potato.
gas bottle.
One came with a full gas bottle.
Which is bizarre.
So one was a giveaway and one was basically a giveaway.
So
and-
how much did you get them?
I paid $100 for the smaller one with the gas bottle.
Right.
That's
So you didn't dew him down.
no, because even I just went.
He didn't seem to, or he or she, I don't know who you're talking about. They didn't seem to understand how you sell things on Marketplace either.
Don't start by saying, "Oh, you can. I'll negotiate," and it's just like, it's worth $100. Here, have $100.
Yeah,
You
like,
want $100?
he
It's worth
hadn't
$100.
You hadn't even said anything.
It's got a
and he said
cover.
it. Oh God, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's got the
Started
only.
reducing the price before
Yeah.
you'd even said anything.
The only thing that's got one is the back hinge on one side is broken.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll fix a hinge.
So we've got 2 barbecues now.
The other barbecue
Great.
is the same brand, approximately the same era, approximately a third larger. It came with, hilariously, what I'd already recently bought, which was a cast iron wok of value of somewhere between $50 and $900 compared to the woks we looked
We
at.
did look at some very nice woks for $900.
And it's fine, and it just comes down to so this guy is just giving. It was like, I've got to move. Oh, where are you moving to? Oh, the next suburb over. I'm going.
Just roll it down the street, dude.
All right, well, great, thanks. And then he said, I've got some push bikes. I want to get rid of? Have a look at it. Two mongoose push bikes and a Cyclops push bike. So the 2 mongooses would be in excess of $1,000 each, and the other one, the third one, somewhere between probably $500 and $1,000.
And there's nothing wrong with them.
Nothing wrong. They've been left out in the rain, so they
They're
need
a bit rusty.
They need. they just
Can you
need
get
to
rust
be.
off things?
Yeah, they just all need to be. It just needs to be washed properly, and then just with a little bit of your
Mountain bikes.
yeah. They're all mountain bikes with all the
Shit on the mountain bike.
yeah, like 5-point
and stuff.
yeah, and 5-point suspension on them, and
Happy
they're
days.
fine.
Because
And
I
they're
like
good. And they're
riding
just
my
going.
bike around here.
What? Oh, we'll buy new ones when we get up there.
Oh, God.
It's not like you're moving to Queensland or
No.
changing. Like
Jesus.
you said, I'll get
flush
new
with
ones.
cash. Was he flush with cash?
No,
Okay, cool.
drives a bin truck, and it's like,
Wow.
okay, mate. Well,
Affluenza.
yeah, cool. So Dr. Moneybucks here is like, oh, I'll have those because we'll get another good push. But we've already got 2 push bikes here.
Mine needs fixing.
Yours just needs a tube put on the back of it. So I'll have a push bike hour, put a new tube on yours, pump up all the tyres on those, lubricate them properly, adjust them.
We've got guest push bikes now. They can go on my guest house.
5 pushies.
Excellent. We can go bike riding.
Um,
Woohoo!
and we're going to give one to Hamish if we're feeling nice. But
Do you like push bikes? Not with his
I
back,
don't think
maybe
he's.
not.
No, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. So
Wow,
stuff
so
'em.
how bizarre.
So yeah, it's just funny that
Why
people
are
just
people-
give things away.
Because I was going to say if they were selling it, maybe they were, hard up, but
No.
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 Are we old and...
Those push bikes, I've seen worse push bikes for sale in Vinnie's for like $150 each and $200
But
each.
do you remember when your grandparents was like, I could fix that, and they'd buy it? Is that us now?
It doesn't need fixing. They're fine. I think the most wrong with one of them is it needs air in its tyres.
Wow.
Like, it's not a case of needs fixing. It's fine.
Yeah, how bizarre.
Like, the chains
They just didn't
probably...
take care of them and didn't want them.
They're just up the side of the house. So, okay, great. All right. Cool. If nothing else, I will repair them, lubricate them, and give them to the less fortunate.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Or not, keep them for myself. And fuck you, it's my push bike.
Yeah, exactly. It's mine.
So that's funny. What else did I have? Yeah, people giving stuff away, and then and I've finally started. I did roll out one whole thing of fencing, so I'm finally starting to get back onto that fencing
Still
again.
not 100% though.
I'm still not 100%, but
Don't get this flu, people. It's a bit of a lingerer.
yeah, yeah. So I've managed to.
It's Easter this week.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that.
So we're only going to open the bar on Saturday. We're not going to
Thursday.
open Thursday, Saturday.
I think. That's
Yeah.
right. Good Friday. No.
And you're away Saturday night. No, Thursday. So
I am on a retreat.
you're on a respite, a retreat. So in this relationship, you need to take trips where you have respite.
Anywho. Alright, so my final thing we'll wrap up with, which I never got to experience, but apparently there's a big push online for Kmart to bring back the Hollies Cafe. And I watched a little video, and I have never seen one of those. Did you ever see one?
Did I see one? Oh, absolutely. There was still one.
Not once.
Right. So to give you an idea, there was still one in Campbelltown Mall in New South Wales when I moved back there.
They said 2010 was the last one.
In
But
2000, if you let me finish.
was it that one?
In 2010. So I moved back to New South Wales in 2011, early 2011, and let me finish because I know you like jumping in on these ones. I actually go, it wasn't 2011. I was like, yes, I know. The Hollies cafeteria was still there.
I'm just trying to picture Kmart, Campbelltown, where it would
Kmart in Campbelltown, front centre. So basically a third back in the shop in the middle, but it was already shut down. And they were removing it. But it was 100% there. It was basically just all
boarded up type thing.
Half boarded up. You couldn't get in there. Right. So, my memories of Hollies. So Hollies.
Did they have them here? Like they were a national thing, or was it just a New South Wales thing?
Certainly, I think it was pretty national. I don't know about down here. But yep, it was basically you either picked from the Bain Marie of Death, and
there's a fly in here.
It was almost exactly the same as an old Woolworths cafeteria, if you remember one of them from your childhood. No. Again, 2 years makes all the difference. Mortdale Woolies had one for yonks. Had one when I was a kid.
I I used to go to the
You get a tray. So the closest approximation of the
food court at Roselands.
Right. Well, this was
with
before,
a wooden tray.
Before food courts existed,
I think.
Woolworths always had a cafeteria, and the closest approximation to it that you'll have experienced, and as you will have, dear listener, that's my age or under, is IKEA.
Oh, okay.
You get a tray, you put it along, you put things on it, you order something, almost exactly the same. So you get a pie, and so it'll
chips
be
and gravy. Everyone get banging
pie,
on about.
chips and gravy, but most people can't remember. There'll be peas, there'll be mashed potato.
Cool.
And you would.
Hollies. No, never heard of it. Never seen one.
Big on they were big on burgers. So you get like the Hawaiian burger and like so they had a chicken burger and things like that. And I remember and they had a number system. So every time the number changed, which I can still remember, it went woo 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 every time the number changed. And so because you were given a number when you got it, and then you'd look up and go, oh yeah, and then you go back and you'd pick it up when it was ready.
Cool.
So yeah, an IKEA cafeteria would be the closest approximation to both that and to like a Woolworths cafeteria, because Woolies cafeterias, they lasted for yonks and yonks and yonks.
No, never saw them either.
And in Tasmania and Launceston, you just missed out. It was Fitzy's City Cafe, which was exactly that. And I think you and I went into it once early in the piece, maybe.
Nope.
But it did close up here in 2017, 2018, just before you moved down here full time.
So yeah.
So.
But no, I thought that was interesting because I'd never seen one. But so there's an online push for them to open them back up, or have them again. But again, I read it and go, oh, you're asking for trouble there. Because people are going, oh yeah, you should put it in the 24-hour Kmarts, and when at 1 o'clock, where else can you go when you're bored? I'm like, oh god. If it's anything like the people that I see at 1 o'clock in the morning, you do not want people in there.
They will all have the same.
You need security. Like as I said, people are much angrier these days. They've got a lot more entitlement. They think that they can just throw shit round. They have what's the word I'm looking for? They don't know how to behave in public. There's no manners. So the decorum and shame has left the building.
You're just getting older.
Maybe.
The only difference I'd say between...
But there's no way that Kmart, of all places now, because Kmart is very much a lower socio-economic
Well, the
shop.
thing is, it doesn't work to have food there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Saying.
The only place that makes sense to have food at 3 o'clock in the morning is a truck stop or a 7-Eleven.
I have been shopping in a Kmart at 3 o'clock in the morning, though.
Yeah, but were you hungry?
No. Oh, maybe. It was after work.
But the issue, of course, is just going to be that, it doesn't make sense. Like you won't have them. You wouldn't have them past like 9 o'clock at night anyway. Like because
they don't want to pay people during the day, let alone the night time.
Of course.
I can never get a human at the registers.
The food wastage, all those kind of things. You could, it doesn't make any sense.
So, anywho. But yeah, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Holly's Cafe.
Yeah, so that was a thing. That was definitely a thing.
Cool. I look forward to them not bringing it back. Or if they do, can you bring it back here so I can see it? That'd be great.
Anyway, I think that's it.
My voice is just about gone. Need more honey and lemon. I'll go make another one.
Off you go, my children. Beware of women with no pants.
Good evening. Happy Easter. Hope the Easter Bunny finds you.
Yes.
Eat lots of chocolate.
I'm sure we'll talk again.
I had hot cross buns for the first time this week. I have resisted. They were in the shops on Boxing Day.
I look at this as like the culture wars is the Australian, it's just Christmas and they've already got bloody hot cross buns. Who cares?
I care.
Why?
Because it's just not the done thing. Good evening.
Good night.